Hey everyone, welcome to the E2 Effective Elders podcast. E2 is devoted to coaching your elder team to win by providing biblical and practical resources in authentic relationships. E2 wants nothing more than to equip you to move God's kingdom forward in the place you're serving Jesus. Visit us at E2Elders.org and please share this good word with others.
Hey, thank you everyone for joining us for yet another episode on our E2 podcast. It is a privilege of ours to bring encouragement to you, and we want to thank CDF Capital for making the podcast possible. How grateful we are. And today we're also grateful to Doug Crozier. Doug is the CEO of the Solomon Foundation. Doug, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Gary. Good to see you.
And you as well. I understand you're on the road again.
Yes, we're on the road. We completed a 33-day trip through the eastern United States, mainly the Southeast, visiting 43 ministry partners. Now my wife and I are on the western swing. We're going to visit about 50 ministry partners over a period of 47 days. Both trips are going to be about 14,000 miles in total.
Wow. So look what COVID did. COVID got you off from a plane and into a car.
Absolutely. But the great thing is, my wife is with me. We're getting ready to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary, and we're just having a great time. In fact, I have to tell you something, Gary. We have not turned our TV on in the hotel room in all of our travels.
Wow.
And we're not turning the radio on when we're driving. It gives us time to talk and talk about things and also just see the amazing beauty that it's in our country. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So that's quite an achievement to not turn that television on nor the radio. So you are setting the bar high for the rest of us very much. And before we get into our topic today, I also want to say thank you to you so that everybody who's joining us in the podcast. Solomon Foundation made our newest book possible. Only with your great investment were we able to produce #Deacon Strong, men and women serving Jesus and his church. So, Doug, once again, thank you for making this possible. We just had a church literally in our online store order many of these for every deacon in their leadership at their church, and they're onboarding them. So we're
Excellent.
Grateful to you. Yep, thanks. Hey, what we're going to do today, you're going to help us unpack one of the 6 challenges facing elders. This is a series that we have been in on our podcast, E.L.D.E.R.S, the recruiting of new elders. And what we've done is we've said, very much like Staples, who have this easy button, we're making it easy for people to get resources on these 6 challenges: evangelism, leadership, discipleship, equipping existing elders, recruiting new elders, and the internal structure of the church, elder governance. And we've harvested from our many, many books, white papers, hours of videography. We've harvested almost 50 resources, and we've put them on our website under the Elder Help button. Just go to our landing page, click on Elder Help, and here's all this information readily available for those 6 challenges facing elders. But if you would help us today, when you travel across the country, you make observations in our many churches. We, by God's grace, now have spoken with over 7,500 elders as of this last weekend in our conferences. And one of the observations we make, regretfully, is the leadership pipeline is running dangerously low. We do not have the next generation of elders on deck, ready to go, serving in the local church. And so the recruiting of new elders is of great importance to us. Could you speak into that, please? Maybe talk a little bit about how do we find them? Is it only through deacons that we find them, or is this an important venue by which to find elders?
Well, Gary, I think I've been in the church lending industry now for about 27 years. And I found over those 27 years that the 2 biggest challenges that I have in originating a loan to a church is moral failure in the pulpit and leadership meltdown. Leadership meltdown is defined as basically the elders and the senior pastor don't get along. And I think part of that is because of probably not recruiting and training elders in the way that the Bible has spelled out for us. And then people get into arguments because we're all human. And so I think recruiting and training elders for the future is a real critical crisis in our churches today.
Absolutely. We can see the writing on the wall. Absolutely. Could you talk a little bit about qualifications? You know, when you just referred to the Bible, and
Correct.
Obviously when we look at the epistles of Paul, he speaks into the qualifications of an elder.
Well, you know, that's one of the interesting things. I had the privilege of serving as an elder at our church in California at Mission Viejo Christian Church for years. And really, to be honest with you, it seemed like elders just happened to kind of bubble up from the congregation where, you know, oh gosh, that guy's a successful business guy, or gee, he's a successful teacher in the local school system. And there just didn't seem to my opinion, where there was a program where people were going through specific training. You know, I just, during my road trip here, I just completed visiting 7 of the real life ministry churches here in northern Idaho, Washington area, and down to Boise. And they have a specific program that people are trained from day one. And you just don't become an elder overnight. You've got to look at the qualifications in Titus and Timothy and look at those, study those, and select men. And I think a lot of churches are doing what's called elder in training.
Yes.
Where maybe they train guys for a year or two before they're actually elders. And again, the fact that the church has a strong deacon program, that's obviously a place where elders can be trained also.
Got it. And how important, when you mention meltdown between elders and the lead minister, how important is that role in your thinking?
It's very important. I mean, you know, basically there's 2 models. There's a staff-led, elder-protected model. And there's the model of the elders are in charge. I think both are good. It's just a matter of biblically following what needs to happen and making sure that everybody understands the fences, everybody understands the rules, so that if there is a conflict, that can be resolved quickly. I think one of the key things that I've seen in my years in the lending world for churches is I think church elderships that vote are really not following a truly biblical model, and that I think they need to have unanimous consensus. There's not a vote for we're going to buy this building or not. There's not a vote for 6 for it and 3 against it. No, it has to be unanimous consent. And if you can't get there, you need to go pray about it. You need to do more research. And a lot of times you need to come back and say, gosh, you know, I really don't agree with this in full, but you know what? If the rest of the guys are there, I'm on board. And I think the consensus model is something that really needs to be taught in our churches.
It is. And that is something that we teach at E2 when Paul says in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. That has to be a part of consensus where I am willing to submit to the greater thinking of my elder brothers.
Absolutely.
If I'm that holdout, submit to their authority out of reverence for Christ. And as a part of that, that's that Ephesians 4, verse 3 experience of working to maintain unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Make every effort. Paul said, to maintain unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. And I couldn't agree with you more. We are all over that. There's no such thing as Robert's rules in the New Testament for the making of a motion. It's second and a vote on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So just like talk a little bit, obviously, because you've been working in this lending arena for many years, you've had to add to your staff. So you're looking for the next generation of workers in your field. What do you think are some highlights? If you were an elder in the church looking to add to your elder team, what are a few things for which you would look for in a potential elder?
Well, I think there needs to be, a couple of the technical things. They need to have been attending the church for, I think, a considerable amount of time. I mean, I see so many churches add elders and they've been attending the church for a year or two. Mm-hmm. I just think there needs to be more time before that happens. And so I think there needs to be guidelines on that, where someone needs to kind of pay their dues, to get involved in the church. We always want to see a church that's selecting elders that have served, that have a servant's heart, like Jesus. So we want to make sure that we see leaders there. Being a successful businessman is one thing. Mm-hmm. Being a elder of a church is a totally different thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so many times churches just go around and say, oh yeah, or hey, that's one of our top givers, we need to make him an elder. Well, no, because does he meet the qualifications?
Right.
No, and those qualifications need to be met. I know when I recently served as the chairman of the search team for Southeast Christian Church in Parker, Colorado, and the church had seen 9 moral failures on staff in 9 years. And so one of the criteria for us to hire the new lead pastor was no moral failures. Mm-hmm. And I had many dialogues with the elders of the church when they asked me to be the search chairman. I said, we're going to have 10 rules. And the 10 rules, we're not going to skimp on any of those. Either our candidates meet those or they don't, because we can't make another mistake.
Right.
And fortunately for us, it took us 9 months, but we hired Aaron Couch that met all 10 qualifications and has done a great job and led the church back from, it had gone from 4,000 to 1,800 and pre-COVID in 6 months, he got it back up to over 3,000. Mm-hmm. And we actually negotiated in his contract that because the elders had so many problems there, Gary, that I negotiated in his contract he had the right to fire any and all of the elders the first year he was on staff. What he did, though, is he walked in and he pulled out the real life. He came from real life and in Idaho, and basically he pulled out the playbook there, similar to the elder playbook that you have at E2, and basically said, we're going to train all you guys on how to be elders, even though you're already elders. Mm-hmm. And that process has made the church so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit on a key word right there, Doug, and that's the word train. I would assume that people on your staff have continuing education, or there's training to go on because laws change, methodology changes, and you would want a team that is always upping its game, always improving its serve, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And, we as elders, we need to be upping our game, improving our serve. And it's not that a bottom line in a business is what's being given attention. It's the eternity of people. We as elders are responsible for the eternity of people. Right. And so we had better be wisely chosen, recruited, and continually equipped, always trained to serve the Lord Jesus and his church all the more effectively. Yeah.
Absolutely. Training, I think, is a critical component. And I think, I'll just kind of give you a case in point. I've been asked to be, in the last couple of years, been asked to be an elder at Southeast in Parker, and I'd love to serve Southeast. It's my home church, but I'm gone 35 weekends a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them that I don't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't serve as an elder if I'm going to be on the road 35 weekends a year. And, it's not that, okay, you want the CEO of the Solomon Foundation on your eldership. No, I'm not qualified.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. No, you've made an honest and right decision.
Yeah.
A shepherd needs to be there among the sheep.
Yes.
And you would not be among the sheep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I shared with Aaron Couch, the senior pastor, I said, you got the best thing in the world with me and my wife in that we're tithing members and we don't take up a seat.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, any last word of encouragement to elders who are wanting to recruit a good team of next generation elders? What kind of a closing word of encouragement would you have them?
I really feel that it's important to seek outside counsel
Mm-hmm.
on developing your recruiting program and your mentoring program. For me, it was great. I had two great mentors, elder mentors at Mission Viejo Christian Church, both dear friends. We actually were in our same small group together, and we just did life together. And they were such great mentors to me. I'll share a quick story. I remember when I was having some trouble with one of my daughters. She was 16 and kind of rebellious, and I called my good friend Doug, who's was one of the elders with me at Mission Viejo, and I said, I'm going to kill her. And he said, we'll be right over. So they came over to the house. They had girls too that were older than ours. He was an engineer for Boeing. He said, let me talk to your daughter first. And he talked to her. Then she went upstairs. Julie and I came back down. They talked to us. And he looked me right in the eye, Gary, and he said, the problem, Doug, is you.
Mm.
You have to change. You have to change. And I would have never gotten that advice if I hadn't had that mentoring from a fellow elder. So, that's, and he was an elder at Mission Viejo for 40 some years and a great guy. He went on to be with the Lord. But the bottom line is recruiting and mentoring. I think mentoring is probably the key word there too.
Yep, absolutely. And, people don't need to be discouraged today. If the leadership pipeline is nigh unto empty, Jesus said, pray to the Lord of the harvest, to send forth workers, for the fields are white to harvest. And I believe that the power of prayer still works, and we can pray and ask God to raise up men who will exhibit to us a heart of servanthood and humility, with a real love for the local church, and Jesus will make them stand out to us. That I believe that prayer is where it all begins, this recruitment of potential elders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, buddy, enjoy the rest of your road trip. You still have many weeks ahead of you, and you're going to see so much of a beautiful creation in this country there in the western half.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. We're getting a lot of the smoke from the California fires has drifted into Oregon, so we're hoping that can clear out the next day or two. It's not fun to breathe that air.
No, not at all. And when are you expecting to be home? What's your home date?
September 26th.
There you go. All right. Well, best wishes to you, Doug.
Okay.
And again, thank you for your great investment in leaders across the country and around the world.
Thank you, Gary, and God bless you and all the team at E2.
Thank you.